welcome back to Spook Show Gaming. My name is Spooky, and welcome to the first review in my series, Is It Worth It?, where I review aspects of games, both old and new, and you guys can decide whether it's worth buying and playing, or if it's just a waste of time. I report on both pros and cons of the game, and I try to hit the main aspects. Today I'm reviewing Adventure Time, Explore the Dungeon, because I don't know. Let's get started. On a mission to, well, save the kingdom, I suppose. Princess Bubblegum keeps prisoners beneath the streets. That seems safe. And now all of a sudden, they're all escaping. Why? Well, we don't know. So she sends us to figure it out and do all the dirty work. Yay! The catacombs beneath the streets. Prisoners escaping. Sounds pretty cool. Alright, I'm in. However, it isn't as menacing as it seems, even for an Adventure Time game. Once in a dungeon, if you can make it to a checkpoint, you can then travel back to that level from the beginning. That is saying that you reach the checkpoint. Now, this can be kind of difficult, because if you need to leave, or, whatever, and you try to come back in, everything that you earned, all the treasures and everything is forfeit. But, it really, that could have been done better. You have the option to take a token or buff, as you see here, upon entering the dungeon. Of course, you have to have collected the tokens first. You can find the tokens all throughout the levels. There's all different kinds, as you can see there. I only have 3 different ones unlocked, but the most useful one that I found was the thump one so far, because it gives you an extra little heart, so that is helpful, and it can really help you out. But the game does have a really good art style as far as being in relation to the show. It's it's cute. It's pixelated in a lot of parts. But it is it's a cartoon. So what do you expect? But it in relation to the show, it has a lot of similarities. So you kind of feel like you know it. If you're a fan, this is definitely something you'll probably enjoy, and it'll make you feel like you can relate more. The game does have somewhat of an upbeat, bubbly type soundtrack, but it can get repetitive considering you listen to it in a loop throughout the entire game. There are slight variations, but not that much. It's not different really much that at all. Each character has their own ability of sorts. Marceline has the ability to absorb hits instead of being able to block. So each hit that she absorbs goes into fueling her special attack. So that's pretty cool if you're, overwhelmed. You can also level up your character by visiting townsfolk that specialize in each attribute. You get to kind of make your own character. That is something that I do like in games. You can put points where you want them. In this case, you can put, you can go to Cinnamon Bun that has different, amount of health or different strength, than you do. So if you want to switch out your characters, that is an option. So, it really just depends. You can kind of pick what character you want depending on what your playstyle is. So that is neat. There also is a merchant available at the kingdom that is accessible after a certain point in the dungeon. You'll see him here in a second, up in the top left. So you can go to him and you can buy all types of health and tokens of such. So that is helpful. But you can go to each of these different merchants, well, not merchants, NPCs, and you can level up each different attribute. Like Lady Rainicorn focuses in focus, so you can level up your focus, which is helpful, especially if that's part of the character that you like, that you want to have a greater emphasis on. So that is pretty awesome. But you know, the game can be really fun every now and then to pick it up and play. But in my opinion, it gets repetitive really rather quickly. So, you know, you can only do it so much before it's just not that interesting anymore. But it is totally on you, because if you like that type of thing, you know, I mean, the Dungeon Crawler is a great type of game, and I just think they could have done a lot better at making it more interesting and lively, and they could have kept your attention more. So, but I'll get into that more when I talk about the cons. But as you can see, I gave you a little bit of a preview on how the merchant right here, this is how this merchant works, and how each NPC has different health and different attributes than you. So that can be very beneficial to you if you're one to run from a fight. If you're one to charge in, you might want somebody with more health, vice versa. So I hope that gave you a little bit of a look on the pros of this game. There are a few more, but these were the high points that I found for the game. So I hope you guys kind of got a little bit of a look on that. Leaving the dungeon, all unspent money becomes forfeit upon returning, as well as it only checkpoints after so many levels. So if you don't make it to the checkpoint and need to go outside, you forfeit all unspent treasure upon returning, and you are forced to start over. In my opinion, that sucks, and I don't like that one bit, because everything I worked for, I just lost. So it's also got very subtle level variations, which makes it boring to explore, as well as to look at. You want a little change, you want to change up the scenery, you know, at least to make it more interesting, because if you just go through the same thing through every level, I mean, even with the slightest change, it's still just, it's uninteresting. There's nothing exciting to keep you going. So it makes it feel like it's more of a chore to get through, because other than the walls and mud on the floor in some places, levels 1 through 14 are very much alike. Lack of story or purpose other than roaming to kill prisoners makes it very monotonous and gives you the feeling of, how many more levels are there? At times, sadly, I couldn't wait to reach a checkpoint just so I could quit and play something more exciting. And I hate to say that about a game, because I rarely say that, but I couldn't wait to reach a checkpoint so I could quit and play something that didn't put me to sleep. The combat is also awkward. Attacks tend to be hit and miss, and it gets really frustrating because they can hit you a lot of the times when you can't hit them. Like that bird there, those birds can be a pain, because if I wasn't lined up with him just perfectly, he can zoom and attack you, but you have to be lined up perfectly to attack him. So a lot of it's hit and miss, and it can make it really frustrating, especially when you only have 2 or 3 hearts and you can't find food. So it can get very frustrating. Finally, the loot in the game is uninteresting, as well as it is difficult to maneuver. The weapons, a lot of them, you have, like I said, you have to be right online with them to even shoot the projectiles for them to even hit, and they're really slow, and it's not worth it to me. It's not even interesting. They tried really hard making it funny or cute, because the game was so slow and drudging that they thought it would liven things up. It didn't for me. Really, it was just another thing to add to the game. Well, aside from the kitten gun, there is a gun that shoots kittens. Minor spoiler, but you'll figure that out when you first play the game, and it's pretty freaking amazing. It's a gun that shoots kittens, and it makes a meow sound every time you shoot a kitten. So that's pretty freaking sweet there. But other than that, really, I didn't like this game. I didn't. It's got a lot of, to me, it did have good aspects, but as far as the important aspects, it lacked. And it's game breaking. It is. So I hope that gave you guys a little bit of a look on the cons of this game, as well as I'm going to enlighten you a little more in my conclusion. I hope you guys enjoyed it. While While the dungeon crawler style is one of my favorites, as well as a really popular genre, with its punishing treasure system and lack of story, I feel like they cut a lot of corners and they could have done better. They try hard to liven up the game with occasional witty character comments or certain humorous weapons, but it's still the same monotonous gameplay. But you judge for yourself. Is it worth it? Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Spooky, and this was Adventure Time. Explore the dungeon because I don't know. I'll see you guys next time.